Hey gang, so this week I've been working on a really fun remote session project for an artist called Miles. The guy behind it is called Adam, and he's doing a really cool kind of throwback Yacht Rock, soft rock, very Toto-esque project, which is great fun. And he asked me to put down some guitar solos on a couple of tracks that he's working on. I will be showing you extracts from these tracks throughout the course of this video. If you want to check out the project and follow it as it develops, I'll put a link to Miles's Instagram in the description. But this got me thinking about what are the components that make up a successful guitar solo. And I've come up with the 5 T's of soloing. You can think of this as kind of being a checklist, and if all these 5 things are in place, then you should be hopefully onto a winner with the solo that you're composing or improvising. So without further ado, let's go through them, and in between I will intersperse some clips from this session from this week. The first is tone. Now this sounds like an obvious one, but what I want you to consider is, what does the track need? We all have our favourite guitars, our favourite patches, settings, but what I'd implore you to do is approach every track with a completely open set of ears and think about, what does the track actually need? It might be that actually it sounds a lot better using a pickup selection that you normally avoid, or that you need to do something quite different with how you're setting up your amp to get it to work alongside whatever else is happening with the track. And this is exactly what happened on this first example. I started off, I think, with my DGT, with my usual kind of setup. By the end of it, I ended up with my Tyler Strat on a sort of gained up 4th position sound, which I never really do. And instead of using the overdrive channel like amp, I pushed the clean channel really hard into overdrive. So it became something a lot more touch sensitive and a lot more kind of appropriate to that particular dynamic moment within the song. Number 2, touch. This whole thing was inspired sort of by something which Michael Caswell always used to say to me, and one of his 3 T's was touch. And in the context of this, what I want you guys to think about is 2 things really. One is, what are the range of articulations that you can get out of your guitar? Thinking about using whether your pick or whether fingers are going to be more appropriate, thinking about what kind of width and speed of vibrato is going to be most appropriate for this particular take. You know, a guitar is one of the most expressive instruments in the world, so think about what is encompassed within all those different articulations, and think about how you can apply them to your solo to make it interesting and to make it work within the track. The second thing within that kind of umbrella is dynamics. I can be guilty of getting carried away and playing quite hard, but again, it's a highly dynamic instrument, and I've been listening more recently to Alan Hines, who is the absolute master of dynamics, particularly with his right hand. So again, with the take that we just listened to, I ended up sort of softening up my attack a lot and trying to get a bit more variation to add some interest to the solo. Number 3 is time. I don't know why I keep doing this. I'm going to stop. Time. And for me, again, this encompasses 2 different things. The first is placement with your phrasing. Guitar players are notorious for rushing, okay? It's just something we do. We get excited, we start playing too fast, we're ahead of the beat, but this generally doesn't feel great when we actually have to commit it to a recording. You can kind of get away with it live because everyone's excited and it's gone in a moment. When you're committing something to a record, you really have to be conscious of pulling back a little bit and making sure that you are sitting within the track and sitting in the pocket of the band. The second thing this kind of encompasses for me is some sort of variation within the subdivisions of your phrasing. So not playing just constant 16th notes or constant 8th notes or whatever, but actually kind of creating some variation, maybe moving between sort of straight and triplet subdivisions so that we have a sense of development throughout the solo. This is something, of course, Lukather is like a master at. He's very good at creating a sense of building energy by moving through subdivisions, going from triplets into 16th notes into sextuplets, and we have this sense of building excitement and energy. Number 4 is themes, okay? And this is like a really important one for me, which is finding thematic ideas within your solos. And a lot of the time, you'll find that these are already present within the track that you're working on. If you listen to the vocalists, if you listen to the stuff that's going on, there will likely already be good ideas for hooks contained within that. This is obviously important in that it will ensure your solo is more melodic, but also a sense of repetition and revisiting a particular theme tends to make it more memorable, I think, for your audience. And if you look at plenty of great solos, Bohemian Rhapsody or, you know, November Rain or whatever it is, there's usually an element of repetition within there, a melody that gets revisited or a particular type of rhythmic phrasing which gets used again and again. And that's something that I think can really help make your solos memorable. In the next example I'm going to show you, I kind of latched onto a theme which the vocal was doing, and I revisit it time and time again throughout the solo as kind of like a hook to return to. Just a reminder that if you guys are enjoying these videos, please consider checking out the Session Heroes Patreon page. It kind of supports me in making these videos because basically it's what I do with my free time on the weekend or after work and stuff. And also you will get a bunch of extra stuff by being a patron. You get the tab and the backing tracks for any of the kind of 80s covers that I do, the Dan Huff stuff, the Landau stuff, and you also get my top drawer lick lessons twice a month, which is usually stuff that I'm working on. Sometimes it's my stuff, sometimes it's stuff transcribed from those guys. If you're not in a position to support me through there, totally cool. Please like and subscribe and comment and all the algorithmic stuff, and share this channel with anyone else you know who likes 80s guitar dorkery. Last but not least, number 5, we have trajectory. Okay, and what I mean by this is really journey. Your solo should have a journey, a start, a middle, and an end. And you want to think about how you're going to kind of plot that out. We can sit and we can pull out cool licks till the cows come home. Or, you know, I'll just recycle my 2 licks. But that doesn't necessarily make for a memorable solo. We want to think about the journey, and that can be lots of different things. It could be that you are starting with sort of long held notes and you're moving up to smaller subdivisions, so there's a sense of momentum and energy. It could be a register that you're starting lower and moving higher. It could be intensity in terms of, you know, using more bends, using more vibrato, using more aggressive techniques, but we want to have some sense of progression throughout the course of your solo. Okay, I think this is really vital. Most great solos have an element of this. Again, Rosanna would be the classic example of it, starting out with long held notes, lower register, moving up, a really great bit of kind of flash in the middle of the solo, and then hitting this kind of climax moment with really high register, really big bends, and it's done. That kind of concludes our 5 T's of soloing: tone, touch, time, theme, and trajectory. Okay, if you can tick off those 5 things when you're writing or you're improvising a solo, I think you should have something pretty good on your hands, hopefully. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I've really enjoyed working on this session. It's a real treat when people bring me 80s style stuff to work on. I also have the pleasure of doing this with my friend in Canada, Matthew Alexa, who's an amazing songwriter, and I can't wait for you to hear the stuff that I've done with him as well. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for Miles and Adam's project, and I will see you guys really soon. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye.